cause of toxin buildup. But you can get them from the air, you can get them from some waters will contain toxin, depending on where you walk your dogs. If there's walking in next to a road, for example, they'll be breathing toxins in. And am I right, Nikki, that a dog would drink muddy water if their diet's poor because they're trying to get the minerals out of it? Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dogs, I think, generally like muddy water better because it's natural. It's what they're used to. Yeah. There's a fair amount of toxins in our water, isn't there?
Yes,
with chlorines, and I know if my dog smells a bowl of drinking water or muddy water, she would rather go for the muddy water. I'm sure she can smell the chlorine in our water and thinks, well, I don't really want that.
That's it. And it's the way that we treat these things that, like water, for example. We should think of water as something very, very pure, very, very natural, safe to drink as much as you like. But unfortunately, it's not. And like Nikki was saying, that a dog would rather choose a rainwater puddle with a bit of mud at the bottom because it's just come out. It's not, hasn't been processed or hasn't had things added to it. So that's where toxins can creep up, and it's the same with humans as well, but that's where toxins can creep up into your dog's diet and cause problems, a lot of the problems that Nikki's been talking about. But one of the main things that we can see very, very easily with dogs is the coat condition. And I know when people have tried, when Annie was saying about going onto the raw meaty bones diet, and certainly trying certain supplements that I'll get onto in a second, the coat shines up very, very quickly. It will help with joint health as well in the longer term, but the coat shines up very, very quick. I mean, how long did it take for Annie for the coat to shine up with you?
On fulvic acid, 4 days.
Really? Yeah,
she was
quick.
just so glossy on it. I was like, wow. It's actually on my website.
Yeah, there is a
video
testimonial for it on the website. But that's what we see. We can see the coat. We can't see Ruben's liver. You know, we can't see his his stomach or his intestines, but we can see his coat, we can see his eyes, and like Nikki was saying, we can see the teeth. So that's the first thing that you can tell. I mean looking at, what's the Brandy? Yeah, that's it. I mean, looking at her coat, it looks very, very shiny. And so you can always even see now that the toxins are coming out of the system. And so a dull coat is a huge giveaway. For example, you can also give this fulvic acid stuff to horses as well. And the coat shines up, the eyes go very, very bright. So that's, I don't want to keep you too long, but that's what toxins are and how that they can creep up and how that they can cause problems. But a coat can go dull and shiny in a relatively short space of time. But when you talk about other parts of the dog's body, it takes a little bit longer for the symptom to express itself. And that's one of the problems, really, and it's the same with humans. If you get had a poor diet in a human, the body has such a capacity to put up with rubbish for a very, very long period of time. If the effect was instant, and you gave, say you gave Molly a bowl of that food, and the effects were instant, immediately you would have that kind of reaction. Well, what's this I'm feeling? But it's not, because they've learned to adapt, or the body has learned to adapt to these toxins that are going in. And it's kind of, in a way, it's pretty much their downfall. If it was instant, then it would be easier for us to relate to what the food is and or what's in the food and the effect that these foods are having. And again, it's exactly the same with humans. But that's pretty much my message for you tonight, is to scrutinise exactly what's going in your dog's diet. And going on to the raw meaty bones is a fantastic start. It really is. Because one of the other things is that when a dog has a problem, and like you say that Ruben's been on antibiotics for a while. And for what reason? What was it?
Diarrhea,
right.
vomiting,
right.
All sorts really, bacterial infections,
right. Okay.
things that the vet has basically said, oh, you need to put him onto antibiotics, so he's gone on to that.
Yeah.
And he's literally probably on antibiotics once a month, maybe
right.
or every other month he's on antibiotics.
Right, okay.
And size of it, the cost of the antibiotics, so he's just had a course and it just cost me over £100 for a 7-day course of antibiotics.
Okay. That's one of the my biggest kind of when I get on the soapbox. I mean, I could talk about this all night. I really could. But the vet will treat the symptom with a chemical. Ironically, another toxin. That's what antibiotics are. They're another toxin to kill the bacteria that's causing the problem. So the vet will treat the symptom, but they won't treat the cause. And it's the same with doctors and humans. They treat the symptom. You go to a doctor with a headache, they give you a pill, symptom goes, but they never even give a second consideration to what's caused the headache in the first place. And that's what a vet will do. But so they won't investigate or even consider the possibility that the problems were caused by 2 years of toxin buildup. It doesn't even enter their head. And like I say, the ironic thing is that they treat 2 years of toxin buildup by putting more toxins in. Yeah. And so it's just a complete downward spiral, and it'll just go on and on and on until you follow Nikki's advice and break that cycle of this toxin build and toxin accumulation. So that's pretty much my message to you tonight, is to scrutinise everything, what's going into your dogs. So I guarantee that unless it's a genetic cause, which is very, very rare, I guarantee that it can come back to poor nutrition or a toxin buildup or both. That's the cause of almost every complaint. This supplement that I've got in, which is available through Nikki, and it's actually how me and Nikki came to meet each other, is something that's called fulvic acid. Now, fulvic acid, ignore the acid word. I know some people associate that with very harsh material, but there are a lot of vitamins, for example, that are actually acids. But fulvic acid has, if you were to do research on fulvic acid and look at the chemical structure of it, it has a huge affinity to bind to anything that is in an excess. So any toxin that shouldn't be there that's in an excess, even any mineral that's in there, any aluminium or mercury or lead, which you can pick up quite easily. It's quite surprising how easily you can pick these things up. Any of those toxins that fulvic acid can bind to and get it out of the system very, very quickly and very, very efficiently. Also in here you've got a ingredient which is second on the list, so it's very, very high, called kaolin, which is clay, like kaolin and morphine. That's what it is. And clay also has this very, very strong affinity to toxins, especially toxins, because the dogs won't absorb the kaolin, but it will bind to any toxins that might be in the digestion. And what Nikki was saying earlier about the gluten kind of clogging up the digestive system, what you need is the digestive system to work as efficiently as it can work. Because if it doesn't, then it doesn't matter what you put in, it's not going to be absorbed and it's not going to be utilised properly. So as a toxin removal or on a detox program, this product would be ideal to go hand in hand with the early stages of a raw food diet. And that's, I don't want to keep you too long, but that's pretty much my message. Scrutinise everything. Everything that you do, everything that you think is going into your, even some shampoos, if you use a shampoo, a lot of them contain lauryl sulfates, which are toxins which can irritate the skin, cause eczema, and cause allergies, those kind of things. So scrutinise everything that you put onto your dog or goes into your dog. Then just check, is it natural? Are there any toxins in there? Because one of the messages that I always come across and try and get across to people is, same with humans as well, is to try and get the animal to work as nature intended it to work. And those foods, that's not boring. Sorry, I'm boring. It's getting the dog to work as nature intended it to work.